Hello, I'm Jason Feldman with Feldman and Associates. I'm an immigration attorney in San Diego, California. I'm here to discuss the requirements and the process for becoming a permanent resident in the United States through the EB-5 Immigrant Investment Program. The EB-5 program allows foreign nationals to immigrate to the United States based on a qualifying investment. To become eligible to participate in the EB-5 program, an individual can invest in a direct project or a project through a regional center. The standard investment amount is $1 million, but is reduced to $500,000 if the business is located in a rural or targeted employment area. The reduced $500,000 commitment is exactly the reason most regional centers locate their projects in targeted employment areas. You should be aware that this investment amount is very likely to increase in the near future. The investment also must be maintained for at least 5 years and sometimes longer. The investment must create 10 new full-time permanent jobs, and it must be in a qualifying new commercial enterprise. The EB-5 process begins with a careful review and selection of investment opportunity. Once selected, the Form I-526 is filed with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, also known as USCIS. Through this filing, the investor must show that the money invested was lawfully obtained, along with various documentation for the project, such as the limited partnership agreement, proof of location in the targeted employment area, subscription agreement, and a detailed business plan, among other things. Currently, this first stage, the I-526, is taking 12 to 18 months. Once the I-526 is approved, unfortunately there's still more waiting, as investor will need to wait for a visa to become available. Each year, there are only 10,000 visas issued in this category. As you can see from the chart, more than 10,000 people have applied in the last few years. As a result, this has created a bit of a backlog, resulting in about a 2.5-year wait for an immigrant visa for Chinese nationals. Once a visa becomes available, though, the case is transferred to the U.S. consulate in Guangzhou, where the investor and family will attend an interview and receive an immigrant visa. Upon entering the U.S., the EB-5 investor, spouse, and any children under 21 will be granted conditional or temporary permanent residency, often referred to as a 2-year green card. This conditional status is removed 21 to 24 months after becoming a permanent resident by filing a Form I-829 with the USCIS to remove the conditions and obtain unconditional permanent residency. In order to do this, the investor will work with the regional center to show that the jobs have been created, the project executed its business plan, and that the money remained invested in the project. As you can see, the EB-5 is a long process. As such, choosing the right project and team to guide you through it is essential. As mentioned previously, the process begins with choosing an investment, either through a direct investment or a regional center. So what exactly is a regional center? A regional center is an organization designated by USCIS to sponsor EB-5 investment projects. Investing in a regional project is very popular. Over 90% of the EB-5 investments are in regional centers, and almost all regional centers locate their projects in TEA areas, thereby qualifying for the reduced investment amount of $500,000. Thus, I will focus on both the requirements as well as the benefits and drawbacks to investing in regional centers for the purposes of the EB-5 program. Regional centers can count indirect and induced jobs as well as direct jobs. This is the key advantage of regional centers and why so many projects operate under the regional center umbrella. In addition, they can show job creation based on an economic analysis of the money invested into the project. In other words, regional centers are not required to prove jobs were actually created, just that the money was invested. For example, the economic models for a $100 million construction project might show that it is expected to create at least 2,000 jobs. Since it creates at least 2,000 jobs, the project could support 200 EB5 investors in a targeted employment area. Some of these may be direct jobs, some indirect, and others induced. The Regional Center program is particularly useful with construction projects, where the developer typically uses subcontractors and does not hire very many direct employees. Construction projects are also quite popular with EB5 investors, as it is easy to understand the business plan and there is a tangible asset as collateral. Choosing a regional center is an important part of the process. Currently, there are around 900 approved regional centers. Choose the regional center and the project carefully. I cannot emphasize this enough. There are many high-quality projects with excellent track records and highly qualified people overseeing these projects. But there are also some regional centers that have little or no track record, and furthermore, the people operating some of these regional centers lack the experience and expertise to oversee these types of projects. From an investor standpoint, it is important to fully understand the regional center's project. Is it a loan-based or equity-based investment? Does the business plan and business model make sense? What are the risks? What is the expected rate of return? To investigate these issues, here are some specific questions one may want to ask a regional center. Have they received approvals for the first stage, the I-526? If so, how many? Have they received approvals for the second stage? If so, how many? Have any I-526 or I-829s been denied? If the I-526 is denied, will I get my money back? What is the exit strategy? How and when will I get my money back? What are the risks involved? What happens if things do not go as planned? Is there any collateral, such as the land or other assets, that the EB5 investors can sell? Who gets paid first? Could I be asked to put more money into the project? How is the EB5 investment structured? What assurances do I have that the jobs will be created? Who will oversee the project, and what are their qualifications? What are the various fees involved for the project? What are the profit and expense projections, and what are they based on? Will I get periodic reports of the project? This is by no means an exhaustive list, but a starting point to help you think about the issues involved in choosing a high-quality project. As with any major investment, you need to research it and do your due diligence. We also recommend consulting with a qualified investment advisor to get an independent opinion on the project. After you have carefully researched and selected the project, the next important aspect is to ensure that you can document the source of funds that you are going to use for the EB5 investment. Most lawful sources are acceptable, but whatever the source of funds, it needs to be documented thoroughly. USCIS requires very extensive documentation to show the complete path of all the funds used for the EB5 investment, from the time the money was earned up until when it was invested in the project. For example, if someone worked for 10 years and saved up their money to buy a property in 2010, then this property increased in value and they sold it in 2017, and then used the proceeds for their EB5 investment, we would show the following: proof of their income from 2000 to 2010. This would show that there was not only enough income to live, but adequate income to save up the money that they could reasonably buy the property in 2010. Then documents showing the purchase of the property in 2010. Documents in bank statement showing the sale of the property in 2017 and that the money from the sale was wired into the investor's account. Then bank statements or receipts showing any inter-account transfers, any wires or transfers to third parties, and of course, finally, the wire transfer to the project itself. Some common sources of EB5 investment funds include loans, gifts, inheritance, sale of property or a business, and investment income. Loans are acceptable, so long as the loan is not secured against the EB-5 investment itself. Obtaining a loan secured against a home or commercial property is a commonly used method for obtaining the EB-5 funds, and that one is perfectly okay. Gifts are also acceptable, but the giftor must provide thorough documentation to show that the money they are giving was lawfully earned. Using inheritance funds is also permissible. Again, adequate documentation showing the money was willed to the investor is required. Other source of funds, such as through the sale of a business, is okay as well. So many Chinese investors use 10 friends and family members to exchange and then transfer the $50,000 each to the EB-5 project. In this scenario, every step of the transfer must be meticulously documented. Others will use a trusted third party in Hong Kong or another country to facilitate the transfer to the EB-5 investment. Again, with appropriate documentation, this is okay. Overall, most lawful sources are okay to use, but prior to initiating the transfer to the EB-5 investment, the investor needs to consider which funds can be documented properly. Oftentimes, income from a business is not adequately documented. Regardless of the source of funds in each of the above scenarios, the money must be fully invested prior to filing the EB-5 petition. In addition to providing evidence backing the source of funds, you must also provide 5 years of personal tax returns or salary tax receipts. Another requirement is 5 years of corporate tax returns and business registration records for all businesses owned by the principal investor. So, assuming you can document the source of funds, and you have a project that you want to invest in, is investing in an EB-5 regional center the right option? Well, there are many benefits to investing in a regional center. First, you are not required to move to the U.S. to operate a business, meaning you can still spend most of your time abroad. In addition, someone else will handle the day-to-day dealings of business, freeing up your time to concentrate on other things. Finally, depending on your perspective, it is a relatively small amount of money if investing in a targeted employment area. There are also drawbacks to investing in that EB-5 regional center. Although some may consider a hands-off approach as a benefit, others may not like the fact that someone else controls the investment. If a project is run poorly, you may lose your money. In addition, EB-5 regional center projects generally have pretty low rates of return. Finally, one of the biggest downsides is that it is not a fast process. It takes several years to obtain U.S. residency through the EB-5 program. Overall, though, the EB-5 is a great program, and we have helped many of our clients utilize it to immigrate to the U.S. Some use it as a way to retire in the United States, while many others are eager to present their children with the opportunity to attend U.S. schools and universities. If the EB-5 program does not seem like a good match, there are other options for foreign nationals to immigrate to the U.S. For example, if you own a business overseas and want to own and operate a business in the U.S., this can lead to a green card through the EB-1 program. In conclusion, regardless of your approach to obtaining residency in the United States, it is imperative to have a strong team behind you and your investment, including a trusted and informed immigration attorney. Our firm has a 100% approval rate on all of our EB-5 filings, as we closely and carefully advise our clients every step of the way. It is important to not only protect your investment, but ensure that your relocation to the United States and permanent residency is both successful and secure. Thank you for your time. I hope you found this both informative and enjoyable. And if you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.